guys, welcome to Get Uplifted. We are in a new year. It is 2021, and I am here with the guys of Strategy of Fitness, Nick, Dan, and Rob, who's not here, but we're going to be talking about all things fitness, motivation, real fitness for real people. I'm going to let these guys shine. Nick, Dan, how are you guys?
Good, Nicole. What's going on? It's a pleasure to be here. I'm excited. Dan, good to talk to you as usual.
Yeah, man, this is my first time getting interviewed, so I'm fucking psyched.
It's going to be awesome. And don't think of it as an interview. We're just chatting. We're hanging out. It's going to be awesome. And we're just going to, see where it leads. I'm excited. That's why I have you two on here, to just keep everything fresh and fun.
That's why we're here.
Yeah, truth be told. So we do, let's start off with, we have to be honest first. Nick challenged me to dry January. Old Dan had a long week at work. There's a brewery where I work, and I, fired up a couple of the Oktoberfest feast beers we're trying to get rid of, and I'm drinking it right now. And, sometimes a challenge is worth it, and sometimes it's just some bullshit. And I think that when you talk about not drinking for a month, it kind of sucks. It just kind of made me mad. Maybe the elevation of blood pressure. I think it was making me drink more Coke Zeros and LaCroix like a psychopath, trying to watch football, drinking Coke Zeros, LaCroix. Sometimes it's just not worth it. So you got to just drink a beer, and I think life will come back to normal. So that's where I'm starting. Truth be told, I quit, and it sucked, and I'm out.
What day did you quit on? What day were you at?
Today, whatever day today is, the 19th.
So 21st. Hey, made it a lot farther than a lot of people.
20th,
I heard a lot of people who quit on the second or third day. So
I think that Bills Chiefs game. We have a text chain, a couple of buddies of mine. And they were like, I had to celebrate the game. You just enjoy it. It was kind of a fun game. I got some friends who were Bills fans. Like, completely went off the wagon that game.
I was gonna say, how do you not celebrate like that? Like, I mean, I've had so many times where I've been like, this is a celebration moment, and I see everyone breaking, and I'm like, but I'm still going strong, guys. I'm trying to go to February 1st. Alex is going to the Super Bowl, so we'll see. I'm like, we're still going strong over here. But I would just jump in a little bit and give us a little background on who you guys are, what you do, and what brought you to create Strategy of Fitness.
Yeah, I'll jump in first. So my name's Nick Cressy. I have known you, Nicole, for probably a decade now. Grew up with your husband, Alex. Grew up in the same town as Dan, and he's a couple years older than me. And we've always known each other. He was playing sports a couple years ahead of me, obviously. So I'll give you the shorter bridge version of who I am. Typical smart-ass kid from Milford, Delaware. Perpetual underachiever till about 18, 19, 20 years old. Dropped out of college. Actually then went and finished college and joined the Navy. So went special operations. I think I had a wake-up call around 22, 23 where I was like, you want to be the cool guy that pretends that he doesn't care about his outlook on life, or do you actually want to leave a legacy here? And it was a huge shift for me where I was just like, come on, dude, who are you trying to protect? You're trying to protect your ego. You're not actually, that's what it boiled down to. So got my shit together. Joined the Navy, Special Warfare Combatant Craft Crewman, SWCC. Did 6 years there. Obviously, if you're in those teams, you just eat, breathe, and sleep fitness. And I've always loved it, right? Like I was a good athlete growing up. But as I got older, I just fell in love with CrossFit. About 2015, I think I found my way into CrossFit. And the stuff that really fired me up, and I think we'll talk about it today, is just the learning curve and just the constantly varied ways of challenging yourself. And I just love it. And really what I've discovered is that I love sharing my love with other people, that whole sharing your passion, and you can kind of see it grow. And it's so cool. Like, Nicole, I write programming for Alex. Like, I grew up with him. We never talked lifting, and now we talk lifting every day. And it's
literally every day. I love it.
It's so fun. And like people building their home gyms, and it's just, you can tell, like, it just fires me up. So the Strategy of Fitness started September of 2019. Dan, I'll kind of hand it over to you. He's one of the smart guys on the pod.
I wouldn't go that far, Nick, but so Nick had this idea, and it was kind of something that was kicked around. Like I said, me and Nick, he's actually best friends. Truth be told, your husband, Alex, and my brother, David, and Nick were kind of best friends growing up and everything. And I was kind of the older kid who, I was around them enough where we were all kind of friendly. And then as you get older, those age gaps kind of shrink. And, me and Nick have always had a similar interest of lifting weights. I've been in the running at various points, but I grew up, playing sports and was just kind of an asshole. Was just in a different way than Nick. I probably just never took the fitness seriously, never took my, eating seriously. It was kind of overweight and just wasted a lot of my potential. Cause I mean, I think Nick and Alex both know I'm pretty coordinated, pretty good athlete just in general. And then just not taking shit seriously in high school was just out of shape. And I just never really committed. And then once I got to college, I was like, this is on me. Like, I can't fuck around anymore. Like, there's nobody to blame. So I really got into lifting weights and just kind of running, and it was kind of bro lifting and just kind of running when I could and playing intramurals and playing 3-4 hours of basketball a day. Just, really kind of opened me up to like, oh, I'm in control of my own situation here. I could do X, Y, or Z, and it can really make me feel better, look better, all that stuff. So I got into fitness through that. Spent a couple of years doing behavioral neuroscience research at NIH because I was really interested in psychology and neuropsychology. And then I realized that I did not want to pursue a PhD in neuroscience because research is boring and generally for nerds. And I think I'm a pretty personal dude, wanted to talk to people and be around people and not primates and rats all day. So decided to go into physical therapy. So went to the University of Delaware for PT school, got my doctorate in physical therapy there. Later went on to do a sports clinical specialty, and I treat mostly athletes, but also, kind of a lot of golfers. I love working with golfers, baseball players, football players, really athletes of all ages, shapes, sizes, and everything like that. So that's where I am now. And then like Nick, I'm into CrossFit. I've been doing it since, honestly, my buddy Dave and his awesome fiance Danielle, who's friends with my wife, started their own CrossFit gym. And I told him, I said, if you set this place up, like they were, I saw him in a football game. Dave had this big idea. He's a physical therapist too. He's like, I'm going to start this CrossFit gym. He's been doing it for 10 years. He was in it from the jump. And I said, if you start that gym, I'll be there day fucking one. And I've been there day one, and I've been there since. Been a little slacking recently because I got the home gym set up a little going. So now there's some competition, but I still love the gym. Still, I'll probably be a member forever. They just come there once a week and bullshit, if nothing else. But love the CrossFit mentality, love it. And then I'm enjoying my home gym setup as well. And I think that the variety is a spice of life. Doing a little home gym, doing a little CrossFit, doing a little running. I like to do it all. And then the podcast, like Nick said, was something me and Rob talked about, something me and Nick kicked around. And then eventually I was like, I love what Rob brings to the table because Rob is much more similar I am as far as he's a physical therapist. And then Nick brings something completely different where he's very modest about his background, but he also has a master's degree. He's no fucking dummy. And then he's also done every workout known to man. He's gone running. He's done sprint workouts. He's done track workouts. He's played football. He's been a wrestler. And he's also done every CrossFit powerlifting workout known to man and every rep scheme imaginable. So I think sometimes experience speaks more than anything else. And you look at your husband, Alex. I mean, he is at least 38% sexier since starting Nick's program. Like he is fucking jacked. Like I swear to God, when he came over to Nick's place, I'd never seen Alex with muscles. He has legit muscles now, which is fucking awesome.
He was like busting out of his stuff.
You have to get that's like a husband upgrade. Like that's a free husband upgrade.
I should be thanking you guys right now instead of interviewing you. I should be thanking you guys. So
that's like you marry a 6 and he's an 8. Fucking
I would say a 10
overnight.
now.
I say a 10 now too. He's fucking so he's sexy.
Literally, he was busting out of his jacket at Christmas. He was like, nothing fits.
I'm telling you, like he was like doubting me. I was like, Alex, like you're fucking strong now. Like you're as big as like he's got as big as arms as I do. I was like, you're getting there, dude. It's really amazing. It's awesome stuff.
No, that's what I think we were talking about. Before we jumped in here, I was talking to Alex about, things that are big takeaways for him. And like, just from both of us, we have both differing opinions of what we take away from each episode. And I think that's what's so great about the strategy of fitness. But we were talking about how you guys you teach so much and you go through different types of, training and techniques. And Alex said that he was never a lifter, but it was until he started listening to your podcast that he had more consistency. He was excited to learn more. He wanted to try things in the gym. And one of my questions that just popped into my mind was, what do you think is going to be the future of home gyms versus going back to the gym? Because we all love that aspect of community and going, like, I personally am a person that thrives in a gym with a lot of people in it. And, just having that community and I don't know, just having people around you to push you rather than the home gym. But now with COVID, it's like, or just getting out of like wherever we are, it's just, I feel like the home gym is something like sacred now. It's like a place that you can like go to and it's right there. And I don't know. What are your thoughts on that?
I look at it a lot like office space, not to get boring, but like I think people are going to get used to being at home and getting it in. I think that they'll probably be in it until there's a better option and whatever fits their personality. Like I'm good. I like working out by myself. Dan doesn't as much. I think he's building out his home gym, and once you build out that home gym, there is a certain level of pride that you take, and you just love it. It's like where you feel safe and happy. But there's still a lot of people that like and need a pace car. It's interesting though because there's been this adoption of health tech, and the Peloton world has absolutely taken off, and that's where maybe if you're going to buy the bike, the treadmill, whatever else, and you're doing the $40 a month subscription, you might be able to scratch that itch and do it from home. I still am pretty optimistic that people will find their way back, especially into CrossFit gyms, just because you can't really match that anywhere else, especially if you like the camaraderie. But that said, there's either going to be massive amount of home gym sales that I look forward to taking advantage of.
Yeah.
Or people are just going to be, using them as towel racks. I don't know. What do you say, Dan?
Yeah, and I've gained. So I think there's really two types of people, right? There's the Nick, Rob, who also co-hosts the podcast. I look at one of our guests we had on, Scott Tetlow, who's phenomenal. Anybody who doesn't know Scott, check him out on Instagram. He's a CrossFit Games competitor. He was in the SEAL teams, or in the SWIC teams, the boat teams with Nick. I'm sorry there. And those guys, the level of motivation, because again, there's levels to this game. I know where I stand on the pecking order. I am not those dudes like Rob, Nick, Scott. Scott's at the top. Nick and Rob kind of on that next level. I'm probably the next level down, maybe 2 levels down. But like, there's a certain motivation that Scotts and Nicks and the Robs have in the world that it is fucking different. Like they can go to a home gym, freezing fucking cold, and still get in the same type of workout that they're used to doing, as being not as good an athlete, as being, kind of on that lower level. I sometimes, for some of the workouts I go through, if it's a DT or if it's a heavy barbell lift, I almost need somebody to just haze me to do it. And that's how I've always been. Like, I love being in a frat. I love like, and somebody asked me why I like CrossFit. And here's the best analogy I can come up with. Sometimes I just need somebody to put a cigarette out in my face and have people be around me to do it. So that's why I like the group setting of CrossFit, where it's like, I would never do this on my own, but here's a bunch of people that are going to be let down if I kind of wimp out here.
Totally. I respect that. And I agree, because I'm both, now I'm getting in the flow of working out at home, but I'm also like miss that, atmosphere where there's people around and you're just getting fired up and like you're feeling the energy and all this stuff. Like I do miss that, and I can't wait for that to come back. And like I said, I was curious to see, how it's going to be moving forward. Another thing I was wondering is like, how do you guys stay motivated? Like, what is your mission? Like when you for creating strategy of fitness, or just in general, when you're working out by yourself, or when you're writing a workout for someone or a program, like what do you guys do to harness this motivation that just keeps you going and consistent?
From a workout perspective, and this could sound borderline psychotic, but like I live for doing shit that other people don't like doing. Like I love hearing that, like, oh, it's too cold. Oh, it's too hard. Oh, I need external motivators. Like to me, it's like, yep, you're fucking different. Check that box. Keep doing it. Keep doing it. A lot of it's just like, like everyone else isn't doing it, go do it. I posted something on my Instagram. It's a Polish weightlifter, and I guess he was not a good weightlifter, and he taught himself to be like a world-class 3-time world champion. And it's just 2 X's, or it's an X, and it's easy choices, hard life, hard choices, easy life. And like, that's it in practice, right? Like, get your ass in the gym. I wake up at 5:30. I get my workout in. I usually get a PM session in. You got to make time for your priorities. The kids are typically out there for one of the sessions. They're learning it. They're seeing it. Like today, my 7-year-old, I'm upstairs working still, and she's sending me a video impromptu of her benching outside. Like, dude, like, what am I doing this for? Yes, for myself, but to fill these, their little brains and souls with this passion that I have. Yes. And if you make it fun, they think it's fun. And then ultimately, like, it's to share it. It's to have conversations like this. I mean, that's why we do the strategy of fitness. Honestly, like, we say it almost every single time. There's nights where it's like it's kind of a drag and we're like, man, we got to do this. It's 9 o'clock. We worked all night or we worked all week. We look at each other and we had an interview the other day until 10:15 and we're like, oh, got to get up and go to work tomorrow. But then you get some positive feedback. You get a person in England hitting you up and saying, I learned so much from this, or someone in Nashville, or just wherever it is, somewhere new. And you're like, wow, I'm impacting someone's life, like for having a conversation. And that's what you're doing here, right? Like, it's so fulfilling. Like, how often do you really get an opportunity to fulfill yourself by impacting someone else? So that's why I do it.
Dan, what about you?
Yeah, it's two parts there. First of all, the Nick said with family, having young kids myself, I want to just make sure I'm showing that. And that was actually too, I think me and Nick are both heavily influenced by our fathers. My dad was, running half marathons, and he got into bench pressing with Nick's dad, kind of when we were growing up. And, even at an older age, Nick's dad's much younger than my dad, but like they used to bench press together. I think he even did a competition one time in high school, and that really stuck out. And I remember working on the bench press, the same rig I have in my garage right now with my dad, just trying to be like, oh, what's a bench press? Like, how do we do this? So like it was a great bonding moment between us. Neither of us were very good at it, but it was something. So it's just a family thing where I would love to pass that down to my son, show him how to bench press, show him how to do things. And again, he's not even 2 yet, so he's basically smashing shit with a plastic golf club. He's almost there. He'll be lifting soon. And my daughter, who I take to the track, and we do, try to do as much physical activity as possible. So I think the first answer lies within family, teaching good habits, et cetera, et cetera. The second is going to be a little less conventional. As people I do not like as I'm working out, I'd be like, they cannot enter this chamber that I'm in right now, and I know that. And that's like kind of what Nick said. When people say it's too cold, when people say it's too hot, when people say I don't want to do it, it's like it's a needle in my veins. I love it.
No, that goes right into the next topic of, how vital it is for working out, not just for the physical aspect, but for the mental and, just like getting out of your head, but also pushing yourself past the limits that you are like all the excuses and the things and the chatter that's going on in your head. You guys want to talk about that and like things that help you overcome all of those barriers? I mean, it doesn't sound like you guys have very many, but I'm just saying, like, where do you stand on working out for a mental aspect?
No, it's as important as the physical. It's probably more so. You guys know my personal history with mental health with in my family, which we won't get into here, but it is something that when I talk to people one on one, you know, it's the building blocks in your head. It's the way you get stressed out. It's the way I get stressed out. It's the way I deal with, my own things, my own stresses at work, family, whatever it is. That's kind of my little safe haven where I can exercise those demons, so to speak. Mm-hmm. And I think that's what I like to get across to people is it starts as a physical journey, especially to a newbie. Mm-hmm. And they think of the aches and the pains. But if you get past that and that initial just like getting that machine working, which is your body, then you can actually allow yourself to start thinking and enjoying, and you can clear out, and that's where the calmness comes in. I mean, some of the hardest workouts ever, the most clarity and calmness I have in my entire day is right afterwards, where it's like, man, that was hard. I went to war with myself, but now I'm done and I'm happy and I did it and I'm accomplished. And it's like, check the box. And it's like a weight's lifted off of you. So I think they go hand in hand. And it's something that I try to convey to every single person. It's like, you're going to feel the body pains. You're going to feel the aches anytime you do something new or hard. But if you push through that and you get this machine that is your body, that it is capable of doing so much more than you ever know, to be able to just sustain and push through, then you're going to be able to unlock some stuff in your brain. And you're going to be able to tell yourself when you have a long day of work, this is nothing compared to, or whatever, because it's just fueling you. So kind of a rambling answer, but I think they go hand in hand. They're super important.
100%. What about you, Dan?
Yeah. So as far as the mental component, and Nick knows pretty well. Sometimes Nick will send me a workout and I'll bounce after the first round and just be like, fuck that. But Nick and Rob said on top, like, yo, this is your punishment for quitting on that workout. Like I am very fragile mentally. I get very down on myself, struggle with anxiety. And
So
for me, there's nothing better though. Like when I do conquer something, when I do accomplish something, it just provides me with so much good vibes. Like if I had a good workout or something I wanted to quit that I made it through, and this is what I tell people too. Like as a physical therapist, I don't care who I'm working with. I see a variety of patients from a variety of different backgrounds, more athletics now. But again, I've worked, and treated Medicaid and Medicare and any number of older people or people who are coming from a disadvantaged background. It's like I'm supposed to be the leader. Like if I'm not putting on, like if I quit this thruster workout, who's to say you're just not going to walk out on me, if I'm trying to ask you to do this simple shoulder exercise. Like I'm the example. It's a do as I do, not as I say. You have to set the example. You have to set the bar. So mentally, I feel like I'm letting all my patients down if I quit, or if I'm not doing, keeping the task. Because for them, you see somebody with a serious neurological disorder, if you see somebody with a legit orthopedic disorder that it's really fucking with their life, that's as tough for them as it is for me to go do one of these ridiculous CrossFit workouts or a vested run or something like that. So I got to set the example, like, yo, you're not going to quit and I'm not going to quit. So we're in this together. So I think it's really important for my end to just be that leader, so mentally that helps me a lot. And I wish to say I was as strong mentally as I need to be all the time. I'm not, but it's a constant battle and you got to just keep hammering.
I was going to say, it's one of the things that you can train. It's a muscle that you can train and get immediate results from. I mean, it honestly is like, you can tell yourself going into it, like, I'm not quitting. It doesn't mean that you do it fast. It doesn't mean that you do it strong. It doesn't mean that you do it maybe not 100% right, especially if we're talking CrossFit. But if you just take that option off the table, I don't quit workouts. I won't quit workouts. That's the mindset. There's nothing else. And I don't care if a workout that is supposed to take 15 minutes takes me 45 minutes. I'm not fucking quitting that workout because that's not in my DNA. And that's what I have to tell myself, because I wasn't always that way. Who was? Like, I wasn't that person at 18 years old. I walked off wrestling mats pissed off. I'd roll over and lose a match. But that doesn't happen anymore. And it's because every single time I start anything, and it's in the gym, but that's where the mentality piece that you're touching on, Nicole, it's everywhere. I don't quit anything anymore, including dry January. I want to, but it's like, no, I'm not gonna fucking do it.
Guys, if we didn't specify, we're doing dry January right now, and Nick and I are still going strong. Dan has caved, but he's made it to day 21, so that is still a very
This is a perfect example.
I just don't care. I still look the same. I feel the same, except I just get mad. Like, I think, so let's talk about all these people want to talk about how important mental health is, but nobody wants to make any concessions for it. Like, part of my mental health is having this Oktoberfest. I'm going to have it because I'm pissed off.
Yeah, say you gotta just like you meet life halfway in the middle, and you know what? You made it this far.
I'm curious you've been interviewing us. I'm going to interview you real quick. I'm curious with your positivity and your attitude, and I know you hit the gym pretty hard and you do your own stuff.
I tried to, not anywhere near as much as you guys, but go ahead.
But where, like, what? Because you, like, I think me and Nick come from for various different reasons, a kind of a darker place. Like, we could go to a very dark place in our workouts and find some motivation. So where's a positive, happy person like yourself for those people who are listeners that can't really relate to Nick and myself, which I'm sure there are a lot of. Where does positive Nicole go for her motivation and working out?
Dang. Well, I was going to say that, I still do have dark days. I still have these mental battles where I'm just like, I do not want to do it. I talk myself out of it. And honestly, the biggest thing for me where I find my motivation is I always tell myself, you are able to move today. You have a body that is functioning. You better get in there and do it. And that doesn't matter. Like, that's not a punishment. It's more of like coming from a place of you better use what you have while you have it and don't take anything for granted. And then another thing I use for myself is just show up. Just show up, hit play, start whatever, just get in there, because in the next 4 minutes or 5 minutes, you're going to feel so good. You just got to push through that, like, just initial part of showing up. I was talking to another guest on here, Yami, and she was saying that the gap between you actually wanting to do it and you doing it is like such a small gap, but it's so hard for people to jump because we all know the right thing to do. The hardest part is to do it and show up. So one of my big things is showing up. And please, I literally sometimes I do these and I'm like, why don't I tell these things to myself, what I'm saying on here? And I'm practicing it. And what I really do love about Get Uplifted is it's kind of like put a mirror to my life. And it's just really brought up a lot of things where I'm like re-looking and evaluating a lot of the things that I do in my own life. And right now, what's really helping me just at home, like working out and stuff, is honestly, guys, I fell for it. I am part of the Peloton family, but you'd be proud. I'm doing it on the Concept 2 bike erg, which is no joke because this is not a spin bike at all. And I literally can't. I'm a person who likes to stay on the beat, say all this stuff. And I get so mad at myself. But if you try to do that, you're literally your hamstrings are going to burst out like snakes.
Nicole,
like
you have the Peloton app, but you're using the Concept 2 bike.
Yes.
Well, that is, I will say, and Nick, I don't want to speak out of turn here. That is Strategy of Fitness approved.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like, because that bike is no joke.
I mean, honestly, I really do love it. And sometimes I'm like, oh, I wish I would have just got the bike. But honestly, for me, I think if anyone is listening to this and they're having a hard time getting through workouts, or you don't feel like you're mentally in the place that you can, get through your excuses and get through your workout. Honestly, I've been loving Peloton or just guided workouts where I know I hear someone else's voice drown out the negative and the excuses that I'm doing. I'm loving Robin from Peloton. She's incredible. And I just started doing some interval runs with her, and basically it's just audio. And sometimes, like, I'm used to running on my own, but man, I can run 3 miles so much faster when I listen to her, and I don't have any time to hear any of the crazy chatter that's going on in my mind that's like, slow down, stop, this is boring, oh, you already passed this before, like, where you are, like, you don't have to go that much farther. So I highly recommend just drowning out your negative voices with someone has like the same mentality or like outlook that you want, and so will help you get through that workout, finish it, and just show yourself and prove to yourself that you can do hard things. So yeah, but I do guys, I really do sometimes have like, I really don't want to, or the negative thoughts are real. I do have anxiety, and I know that working out really helps me, and it just really gets my body moving, and I'm learning so much about it with like NASM and studying for my exam. It's just like, man, the power of movement, and movement is medicine, and it's like, it's so real. And yeah, and I just love everything that you guys like talk about on your podcast, because it's all about consistency and showing up. But I really loved from the first podcast, you guys said this is real fitness for real people. And I freaking love that, because if you guys want to talk about it a little bit, I love that you guys said that this isn't for the 1%. This is for people that are just trying to get active and just trying to learn new techniques and do things correctly. That's what I love too, is also that it's, you guys spoke about it, that it's raw experience balanced with formal training backgrounds, which I think is so amazing. And yeah, if you guys can talk about that a little bit, I think that's like so interesting.
Yeah, I think when we discussed it originally, we kind of looked at what people were doing. Like, I listened to some podcasts, and I was like, man, this is the same stuff. It's coaches that are teaching or coaching the highest level performers. It's people that have kind of already made businesses out of fitness. Where's the podcast? Where's the information for just the common man, the person that drinks the beers, like, gets the 6 hours of sleep,
or non-alcoholic beers,
or non-alcoholic beers.
That hurts my feelings. How are those things, Nicole? Like, first off,
actually delicious.
How are those?
Actually delicious.
And my buddy Brett, who's trying to quit drinking during the week, he's got the Bud Zeros. He likes those too.
I haven't had those. I want to try them. They weren't sold anywhere that I went. Shout out to Hop Tea. I'm loving this sparkling hop tea. These are made with sparkling water, hops, and different teas. And this one's a chamomile, and they also have like green tea and stuff. And they are delicious, and I love them so much.
The point is that we want an audience that is just everyday people. Like, they get a 45-minute session in, they have a family. This isn't we have high performers on to come share, because I think people are addicted to hearing about that and how people are so great at what they do. The Scott Tetlas, the Nick Urankers, the Kelly Bakers, etc. But really what we're trying to do is we're trying to do weekly, hour-long episodes that leave the listener with actionable items to go make themselves better incrementally. And, if it can be during their warm up of their workout, I get a lot of messages from buddies. They're like, I threw your podcast on as I'm warming up, and then as my cool down, and it's awesome. I learn a little bit, gets me motivated to work out. Then I throw on the hitters list, and it's like, boom, boom, boom. Like, that's what we're doing. We're not doing this to, really talk to that top 1% again, because they're the ones talking typically, and they're not listening for advice. But there's the rest of us out here that are just trying to get it in. And again, with Dan and Rob's like actual background, it's a perfect fusion of like me kind of talking about how I do things and them saying, well, this is why you do it without even knowing, and this is how you could do it better. And I don't know, I think it's a perfect hybrid.
I really do too.
It's great. And, I look back to one of our guests, Jordan Sayat, and it was an awesome episode if you listen to it. I wish, Nick and I had some time constraints that day, and it was really rough, trying to get it in and all the things that we wanted to ask him. He's a awesome Instagram follow. If you guys haven't followed him, he's great. I think he's in NYC with you, Nicole, or close to it. But anyway, one of the things that he says is like, there's some people out here with letters behind their names, and shit, I've worked with them. They got all the letters behind their names. They got all the fancy shit, but they can't explain it and they can't talk about it, and they're just not good at practice. So, although me and Rob do provide that quote unquote technical insight, like I love Nick's experience and vice versa. And that was the whole idea behind the pod, is like, we got to get somebody who's on the ground level doing this shit. And then we got to get people backing up with some real life, facts. And then we meld that together. And then that's where you find the truth, right? So there is a truth in the middle there where me and Rob are probably too conservative. Nick might be a little too liberal with his use of intensity and duration. But at the same time, I look at it like wrestling. And we look at these UFC fighters and we look at the American Olympic team. When you look at international wrestlers, I think they're some of the toughest people on the planet, and they're savages. It's iron sharpens iron. It goes against conventional wisdom. It goes against science. It goes against what people can possibly tolerate. But what you get when you ignore everything is you get the best of the best of the best of the best. You get the absolute tip of the spear, right? So I don't think you can get to that tip of the spear unless you ignore some science. Now, I would never advocate that in my professional life, but in the strategy of fitness life, we are trying to narrow that down to get to that upper echelon, that tip of the spear, while still trying to figure out, if you're a normal person, how can you make this shit work?
I love that. And one of my biggest things I'm learning so much, through studying for this exam, is safety. How do you guys go about with safety? I know you have at the beginning, you have your safety protocol, or what's it called, disclaimer. And I'm just curious, like, how do you guys protect, like, safety wise, of people trying these things, or how do you, I don't know what I'm trying to ask. Like, Dan, why,
so the reason I put that in is just because, as a physical therapist, I don't make as of right now, I don't make a damn cent off the podcast. Eventually we'd love to get sponsors and blow it up, and obviously I think it's a great opportunity for monetary gains in the future. But my primary income, I'm a physical therapist. I'm an active treating therapist. So I think it's important to protect myself with a disclaimer, just saying, if you try this shit, like, that's on you. Like, we're going to give you the information. But, and that was just advice I got from, friends of mine who have gone down similar roads. But safety wise, we just provide good information. And, I think the people that listen, like, honestly, if somebody, like, it's just tough to even get to the situation. If somebody was to do something and, like, call us out on it, like, I would just go to their house and be like, what's going on? Like, I'll teach you how to do it. Like, I don't give a fuck. Like, I'm very, very accessible. Nick's very accessible. Like, you send Nick a lift, you send Rob a lift, they'll spend 30 minutes looking at it. Like we talked about on our pod, like, DM us. Like, we don't give a shit. We just want to help you. So I think that the intentions are good. And when you have good intentions and you have good people who are kind of building a part of community, there's nobody that's going to come at you for that stuff. The safety stuff, be smart. We talk about it on the podcast all the time, and just do weights you can manage. But if you need us, reach out to a professional in your area that can, help you with it.
What are your thoughts on New Year's resolution? Because we're in January right now. We're wrapping up January almost, which is crazy. And so many people are like, new year, new me, resolutions. And we did have, with everything that we went through in 2020, that's still lingering going on into 2021. I feel like a lot of people are either hesitant, or they're trying to make these gigantic, huge, insane, ambitious New Year's Eve resolutions. I was kind of curious on your thoughts, if you believe in them. If you don't, I'm kind of curious where you guys stand.
Yeah, so we did an episode last year to kick off 2020, and we touched on it a little bit. And we all kind of landed on, like, don't wait until the new year to set a goal. Like, there's no time like the present. But then this year we talked more about, like, habits and how to build habits, because it is what it is. Like, who are we to tell anyone when they should decide to turn a switch on? I'm all about it. If your 2021 is going to be the most healthy, best year of my life, I'm going to start doing XYZ. Where I have an issue is the Planet Fitnesses of the world that in the past anyway, when life was normal, they feast on those people, and they feast on people not being intentional and not being committed, and it's half-assed. And you guys probably get this by now, 45 minutes into this, I'm not half-assed, like, especially when it comes to this. And that frustrates me. So if you're using the New Year's resolution to change your life and you're committed to it, hell yes. If you're using the turnover of a calendar to trick yourself into being committed and you're half-assed doing it, you're going to have the same problems you had last year and the year before and the year before, until you get intentional and committed enough to say the consistency is the key, and I'm going to attack this. So good on you if 2021 came and you're in January and you're like, I'm going to have the best year ever. I'm going to be strict on my diet. I'm going to hit the gym 4 times a week. Hell yeah. But you nailed it, Nicole. What people tend to do is they commit to too much. They get to February and they fall off and they think they're failures, and they sink back into December, November versions of themselves where they're very frustrated and they're kind of mopey. And it's like, is this healthy? So whatever you're going to do, be committed, consistent, intentional, and make it so it's something that you can do for, the long term, not just a sprint, because it's really hard to do that.
Mm-hmm. Dan, what are your thoughts? And also, I feel like it's like, if you want to do and accomplish things, you need to write it down. You need an actual attainable goal that you can see with a timeline, and SMART goals.
Smart goals, share them. Like, my biggest thing is, like, share them with your significant other, with your family. Have an accountability buddy who's checking in on you. And when it sucks and it's Tuesday and it's been a long day, but you said you were going to work out and you were going to do your runs on Tuesday, that person checks in and says, hey, did you do your 1 mile? And that's enough. That's enough to get you going.
I love that.
Yeah, I think that we did 2 New Year's resolutions episodes. We've been having the pod for about 1.5 years now. And I think the first one, we're kind of bouncing back and forth. I really like the second one, and kind of where we landed on what Nick said with habits and ways you can make some changes. And I think that there's no better way to fail at something. When you hear somebody, I know everyone out there who's listening has a family member, they have someone in their lives. Hey, in February, I'm going to quit smoking. Come July, I'm going to lose weight. If you're saying that and you're not ready to do it that day, it ain't happening, right? So I look back, and again, I'm far from fucking perfect. There's any number of mistakes I made or any number of things you do. But when I decided to go to physical therapy school, I was like, I needed physics and I need chemistry and I need calculus. I did not have those classes in undergrad. I needed to take them. I took all my money that I had and I borrowed some money from my parents, and I signed up for all the fucking courses at University of Maryland and online, whatever I could fucking take to make those classes happen. I didn't do it like a week from then. I did it like I was taking the fucking class in summer when I didn't have time. I was working at NIH for 9 hours a day, and I was hitting physics for an hour and a half a night, and then I was in a 3-hour lab after that. That's what I did. And I didn't know what the fuck was going on, but I was like, that's what I want to do. So I had to make it happen. So like, if you're already asking yourself, if you're already setting a date, if you're already looking to the future and saying, when can I quit this? When can I do this? You've lost the goddamn battle. Just start with the habit, start with the action, and then everything else I think will come into place. But yeah, if you're setting those dates, and again, I've been there, it does not work. You gotta start with a habit. You gotta make those commitments early and stick to them. Accountability buddies are great.
I love that. It's so true. And it's like that same thing of just, showing up, continuing to show up and make realistic goals that you can see yourself achieving and, going for them, and not waiting the next day to start it. If you're serious, then start today, Interesting. Your podcast helped me so much when I went back to energy systems and all that stuff. I just want to say, do not stop making those episodes because they're too nerdy. I was literally geeking out and was like, this makes so much sense. And I can't wait to go back and listen to them again before my exam, because you guys really broke it down in such a way that was easily digestible, but also made so much sense in the big picture. And then having Nick talk about how it's applied and how he works out, and you guys were showing the correlations. I loved. So
hey, tell us about what you're studying for. I think this would be cool.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, I haven't really told anyone yet, but I have spoken about it on Get Uplifted. I am on February 1st taking my exam to become certified personal trainer, and I am absolutely loving it. I have my textbook right here. I'm studying with NASM. I literally can't stop reading, researching, just getting my hands and everything like on videos. And I honestly love it so much. And it has been such a great thing for me to focus on while makeup is on pause. I was like, what can I do during this time that, you know, will fulfill me? And that's how Get Uplifted actually happened, because I was like, I'm not working. What do I do? What can I do to, like, I want to do community service. And I was like, we can't, it's COVID. So Get Uplifted was born because of that. But originally back in October, I signed up to become certified personal trainer and to go through the study program with them. And I honestly have to say, I just love it so much, because movement has been what has gotten me through this pandemic and through all of my hard situations in life. And I just was like, you know what, this is such a passion of mine. So instead of just being a makeup artist and men's groomer, barber, all the things, I'm kind of trying to branch out to become more of like a wellness brand and total. And so, and I also work out so much that people were like, oh, show me how to do that. And I didn't feel right doing it unless I was certified. And I keep reading that you really don't need to be certified to be a personal trainer. But I was like, that's not good for me. I want to be certified. I want to know what I'm talking about. And I want to know the science behind it. And I'm absolutely obsessed. I have muscle posters, like skeletal posters everywhere. Like I'm obsessed with it, and I'm so excited to see where it leads. But yeah, I've been super quiet about it and just letting the work do itself. And I cannot wait to share with everyone when I pass, because I really do feel like I'm going to nail it. So, and thanks to you guys. I mean,
yeah,
thank you.
You are going to nail it. And I will say too, like, it's great having like if you look at our catalog, and obviously we're here to pump the strategy of fitness, like there's some really good scientific, like, stuff throughout all our episodes. Now you might have to sift through like some of my shitty 80s metal songs, or some of, you know, Nick's workouts where he's throwing up in his driveway, but there is some good science in there somewhere. So yeah, no, good luck with all that stuff. It's great. And I mean, I remember like first when I was in PT school, we cut open the bodies, you know, we do the dissecting cadavers, and you start seeing those muscles. You're like, this is what drives you every day. It's fucking awesome. Like when you start looking at what the skeletal muscles look like, it's just fascinating. And you know, I'm glad that you're having that kind of epiphany.
And, you know, it's not a tagline, but it's really what I like to tell everyone when I'm talking about this stuff is like, this generation doesn't know what's coming when it comes to aging. Like, we're going to be the first of our kind to age the way we do. So start taking your health and your physical fitness seriously now, because the way this shit's going to look with all the processed food and the easy shortcuts that we've been taking our whole life and grown up with, that our parents didn't have and our grandparents certainly didn't have, it's going to hit us really fucking hard at about 40 years. You got to be ready.
Love it. Show up, just start now. I mean, don't wait till it's like, you know, it becomes a problem, I think is the biggest thing too. And just, you know, being proactive about it, and, you know, training your body now so that you can live a fulfilled life of moving and doing the things you want to do, and just taking the time now to put in the work to continue to do, because it's not going to be something, I mean, yes, it's not always something that we want to do, but when it becomes routine and habit and that's your thing and like you're in the flow, then it just feels natural and you're not going to be resisting it so much. You can start now. You can restart anytime.
Yeah, literally make the decision. Again, it goes back to the same words: commitment, you know, longevity, and that's the beauty of it. And that's the beauty of starting now and not starting tomorrow. Like Dan said, it's not, I'm going to start March 1st. No, I'm going to start now. And, you know, I'd be remiss. Dan's probably sick of hearing me talk about this goddamn book, Atomic Habits, but Atomic Habits is so damn good. And I re-listen to it every year. And one of the biggest things that he does is he says, make your first habits easy, 2-minute rule. Do it for 2 minutes and only 2 minutes. You're going to do push-ups for 2 minutes. That's the only workout you're going to do today. You're going to do it every day. But that starts to compound. And before you know it, those 2 minutes are too easy. And then you're like, it's 4 minutes. And then before you know it, it's 15 minutes of something. And it just compounds. And then you start to love it. And then your brain is into it as much as your body. And that's what it is. And it's never too late. And that's kind of the beauty of CrossFit. And we see, you know, the videos that they do, and it's people lifting water jugs and milk jugs doing rows. It's never too late, but you just have to do it, and you can't talk about it. And it's getting into action, like you've been saying.
Yes, I love that.
So here's what I'll add. You're going to be a certified person, you know, personal training. You know, you're going through your tests to become a personal trainer. I've watched Nick grow the past 2 years since he got Chris Clyde as his coach. Coaches, trainers, people who are online that can advocate for you, keep you accountable. I cannot speak, especially now where we're doing Zoom and you can get so much content online. Okay, a lot of these coaches will say, what do you have at home? X, Y, or Z. Let's use that. Find your Chris Clyde out there. Find some of these online coaches. Nicole, hopefully one day you'll be putting this stuff out online. Hopefully one day people can reach out to you and say, I listen to this. How can I do it? And you can say, take your jump rope, 2 minutes in the living room. Let's go. Find a coach that will help you be accountable and that will help you get started. It's never too late. Everyone's going to be X number of years old. Like, I'm 36 right now. At some point, I'll be 42. Don't want to be 42-year-olds with a beer gut talking about the glory days, or be 42 banging out pull-ups in my garage. I'd rather be the latter. So that will be my last piece of advice. Either way, you're going to be dead or you're going to be 42. So figure it the fuck out.
Ooh, I love it. That is how we drop some knowledge on here. And that is why we brought the Strategy of Fitness guys on here. Guys, I can't thank you so much. I can't thank you enough for everything that you guys are doing. I appreciate you guys so much for coming on here and, just chatting with us and having authentic conversations just about fitness, but not just about fitness in general. It's just, movement as medicine, and just kind of, it's not taking for granted that we have bodies that are able to do these things. And also what I love is that you guys take the limits off of, what the body can do, and pushing it and seeing where it can lead you and where it can go. And I love everything that you guys are doing with Strategy of Fitness. And, you have more of a reach than you even know. As you said, people from New Zealand, Australia, England, like, it's crazy. Just, the ripple effect of you just showing up to help others and to teach and to just come from an authentic place. I mean, it's just making a huge impact. And I'm so grateful. And you guys, if you're not following Strategy of Fitness, you guys have to check it out. Where can everyone find you guys?
The Strategy of Fitness on Instagram. We have a hitters playlist, the Strategy of Fitness on Spotify, on Apple Music, and that's where you can find the pod as well.
Thank you guys again, and I can't wait to talk to you guys soon.
Thanks, Nicole. It was awesome.